Wolverhampton Wolves.
That's right. It is a Fat Tuesday. We are back here on KSHP Radio, 107.1, 1400 AM on your AM dial, KSHP. Jose V, Chris Winn in the studio hanging out today. You are tuning to Sports X Radio. Normally, you'll be having our guy Ken Thompson in the studio here giving you some sports talk conversation today, but he's taking the day off. He's hanging out. He's going to go do some other things that he wanted to do. So I decided to jump in studio, have a good time today, and talk it up. Chris, how you doing tonight, my man? You doing good?
I'm doing good, man. Good to see you. No shortage of stuff going down right now, right?
Yeah.
Across the board. When it comes to playoff time, you want to talk Major League Baseball regular season, NFL offseason, it's always going down. We got a couple great guests today, of course, with IFL action, of course, and some local soccer ties as well, too, with an all-time baseball great. So going to be a lot of fun here with a little Sports X Radio on your Fat Tuesday.
Remember Sports X Radio, we're coming to you live from PSR Law Studios, Panchet and Ravaputi, the best in personal injury. Over $5 billion in verdicts and settlements for their clients the last 5 years. Make sure you give them a call, 702-560-5520. Now, Chris, you talked about it. We got a crazy show today. A lot going on in the world of sports. We got some soccer, some UEFA Champions League, obviously NBA playoffs. NHL playoffs have been crazy. Evan, I'm sorry, my man. I know you're still hurting when your St. Louis Blues lost. I know that was tough. But remember, guys, we are live on sportsxradio.com, KSHP Radio 1400, and, of course, 107.1 and KSHPradio.com. And we decided to switch it up a little bit today as well. You guys know me. I like jumping in front of the camera, doing some of the YouTube stuff. So if you want to watch us on the video stream, we are live right now on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Just check out Straight Bet Sports and Jose Volonte. That's where you can catch us. Now, real quick, before we get into our first guest here, Chris.
Yep.
UEFA Champions League today, like I was talking to you before we started. Barcelona, Inter Milan. Amazing game going into this. 3-3 overall aggregate. First half, Inter Milan gets the first goal. Lautaro Martinez, Argentino, of course, got to give him a big shout out there. But then second goal is off of a penalty, which I said to me was an atrocious call. Even after the VAR, they check it. The dude clearly gets the ball first. Hits a little bit of the body, but they still wanted to give him the penalty. I get it. It is what it is. Game goes into extra time. Chris ends up 7-6 final overall aggregate. Inter Milan gets the win there. Takes out Barcelona and Lamine Yamal, the 17-year-old phenom. They completely stopped him, shut him down today. Had a lot of shots on goal, but couldn't get it done. So at the end of the day, Inter Milan jumps into Bayern Munich to go ahead and play the championship, waiting on Arsenal or PSG from tomorrow to see who will be in that final. But Chris, the reason I bring up soccer, our first guest for today, obviously, we talked about it earlier, big name in baseball, if you ever were a baseball guy, a.k.a. Joey Bats, but obviously known as Jose Bautista. Here, the owner of the Las Vegas Lights, new owner coming into his second season. Mm-hmm. We thought, why not get him on the phone? You know what I mean? They just played here recently on Saturday. They got another game coming up here soon as well. Doing good to start the season. Had an amazing season under year one with Jose. So we thought, let's get him on the show. We've been trying to do this for a while, and we finally have him on the line here. Jose, thank you so much for joining us today. How you doing out there, my man?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
So just real quick, my man, you came in last year, decided to take over the reins from Brent Lashbrook, which was the previous owner here. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about how he ran the team, what the fans liked, what the fans didn't like. What was it about the Las Vegas Lights and just Vegas in general that attracted you to come over here and go ahead and take this opportunity and this chance?
Oh, 100% the future of this market. I mean, Vegas has already put their name on the map, on the world map, as one of the sports capitals of the world. And baseball's not there yet. It's coming. NBA is not there yet. Hopefully following up soon after that. But the job that the Golden Knights, the Raiders, and the Aces have done has been tremendous. And obviously some of the minor league teams as well. So, you know, we hope to continue to build on that. I know that the Lights have been there since inception and shortly after the Golden Knights. So one of the first, you know, two professional sports franchises that existed in the local market. And, you know, we're looking to bring that back, to show that history, and to bring back the name of the Las Vegas Lights into people's households and make them proud again. I know that the first few years were amazing with average attendance over 10,000. But after COVID, you know, the team hit kind of a snag, and we were in a rebuilding mode last year, and we're looking to build off of the recent success that we had from my first year as the owner.
So you came out of the baseball scene, obviously, but this team was already here. Were you sitting back after you left baseball and watching the Vegas market when it comes to the Las Vegas Lights or any type of soccer clubs, or was it just something that interested you right off the bat?
To be honest, I was watching professional sports in general. And then after a deeper dive into the different leagues that existed and into soccer and what's happening in soccer in the next 10 to 15 years, as an investor, I was super attracted to the USL. And then just checking out all the markets in the USL and the new teams that were coming on and the existing ones that were potential, that you could see that they were struggling a little bit. I was just hanging around the hoop with Vegas, and when the opportunity came about, I jumped all over it.
Yeah, I got to believe, Jose, that to that point, the reason for the optimism, right, is kind of down the line of what you just talked about. And I'm going to specifically focus on the Vegas Golden Knights, right? Vegas was not a hockey town, right, Jose? Before the Golden Knights came here, they just weren't, okay? So the idea that the Vegas Golden Knights now, you could argue, is absolutely right there with the Raiders or with any other sport when it comes to the popularity in this town. So to jump that over to a sport like soccer, right, where you're trying to kind of dive into a market, right? I gotta believe the optimism is that look, if the Vegas Golden Knights can do this with hockey in Vegas, then there's absolutely a reason to be optimistic and positive about soccer catching on and having that following here in Vegas.
100%, and the fact that it's been done before in the first 2 years, like I mentioned earlier, in 18 and 19. Again, after COVID and the fact that we play in Cashman, and yes, it's outdated, and yes, it's not soccer first, but we're making that as good as it can be while we're there. And we might have a little transition period here before we can build a new stadium. There's a lot of moving parts that I really wish I could get into more detail about, but I'm trying to be respectful of all the parties involved. But trust me, and I want everybody to believe that my effort is solely on making this the best professional soccer team in all of Nevada and to bring the highest quality of soccer to the local community. And that includes, finding a new permanent home that's going to be something that everybody's proud of locally, just like T-Mobile is for the hockey fans and just like Allegiant is to the Raiders fans. So it's a lot of work to be done. But we're well on our way, and not only because of the early success of the team had that I'm optimistic. That you're absolutely right in your instinct telling you that soccer is 100% Vegas is 100% a soccer market, as opposed to hockey wasn't. But everybody loves a winner. Yeah. Everybody likes to rally around community, and I think we're starting to see evidence that the fans are believing again and seeing where we're going and just following along. And our attendance is growing. And it's great to see, that crowd, the atmosphere, the enthusiasm in the local fans and the supporter section and the chants and the drums and the tailgate that we have for the game. And, people want to come and have fun, and we're providing that and watch a great game, which, unfortunately, before we took over, they never won. We made it to the championship in our conference, one game away from the league championship last year, and we'll build enough of that. We have a great team, and we're enjoying early success. We're off to the hottest start franchise history, and we can't wait to keep going.
Jose Volante, Chris Winn, you guys are tuning to SportsX Radio live here on KSHP Radio. We are live on the phone with former MLB star Jose Bautista, now the owner of the Las Vegas Lights of the USL here in Vegas. Jose, you talked a little bit when it comes to the movement and the changes, obviously, that are going to happen here in the future. It's already been talked about that Cashman is not going to be your home for the near future here, and things will be changing, coming with a new venue. And like you said, respectfully, with all that, we will leave it there. But with change also comes change in the club. What was it about Dennis that you decided not to keep him after you just stated you guys had probably the best year of your franchise's history last year as far as they got? The club responded to Dennis. The fans loved Dennis. And now this year you decided to switch over and go with Antonio. What was your thought system, the process there when you decided to go away from Dennis after everything that he did for you guys last year?
Well, I wouldn't say that we necessarily wanted to go away from Dennis, but it was sort of mutual, right? And sometimes with success, especially in professional sports, comes other teams trying to poach away your coaches and your employees, right? And we saw it even mid-season. One of our assistant coaches got got hired away from El Paso. Then came with a couple of people in the front office that got hired away in the off season. And then with Dennis, it was the same thing. He was presented an offer he couldn't refuse. And as a professional organization, even though he was under contract, we wouldn't want to stand in anybody's way of progress, or at least what they see as a better next step in their life and in their careers. And even though we didn't want to make the change, we took the bullet and we respected his decision, and we didn't stand in the way of his future or his progress. And, we were put in a tough situation, but we made the best of it in hiring Nocherino. And he's a guy that came from Miami, and they had a tough season. We believe that the reason why that happened is because the roster he got handed. But his experience and wealth of knowledge to speak for itself. Somebody that played in top division Europe, Serie A, for almost a decade, you can't really replicate those things. He really embodies a lot of the elements that we want to instill into our culture as a club when it comes to having passion, playing hard, just leaving it out there on the pitch every single second for your club and your town, and the name in the front of the jersey and your badge. So, I think he was a great choice, and we're showing early success. Now, we're not going to rest on those laurels. We got to keep working hard all season, but we're off to the fastest franchise start in history. So we're looking to build off of that. And again, we weren't looking to go away from Dennis, but things happen when you enjoy success, and that's part of it. So we're always going to be nimble and agile and be on our toes and make quick decisions that always put the club in a great position to succeed. So we were able to do that.
Once again, we are live with Jose Bautista, owner of the Las Vegas Lights. Now, Jose, I'm going to sound biased here and I'm going to sound like a homer, but I've been covering this team since day one. I saw what Brett did. I saw the attendance. I see the fans. I see the fans leave. I see some fans wanting to come back. What is it that you're trying to do to focus on not only the team, obviously, because that's the hardest part. You got to put the club out there. You got to put the players on the pitch. You got to put everybody set up. But how are you going about making sure that the fans are happy, that the fans come back, and you start getting those 9, 8, 9, 10,000 plus people coming back into the seats?
Well, it starts with winning, right? We want people to show up, and at the end of the day, we're entertainment, and we don't want to entertain by losing. We want to entertain by winning, and we want people to rally behind us and disconnect from everyday life and just have fun and enjoy the success that our players are having on the pitch. So we got to build that relationship between the fans and the players as much as we can, and we're working hard at that. We also have to improve the fan experience. We have to bring, a better ticketing system. We have to improve parking, bring better security. We have to have better food offerings. We want people to enjoy themselves. We're trying to bring some more entertainment elements while keeping it professional. There's only so much we can do at Cashman, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but we've made it a little bit better. We made a ton of investments with the LED boards, a premium hospitality space, and in the old outfield of the part of the touchline down there between the fence and the playing field. So we really have a lot of cool elements. We have a huge patio deck out there that people can come out and have a beer and enjoy and have fun with their friends. So it's gotten better. Again, we also have to be smart investors, right? We don't want to pour cash into Cashman knowing that we're going to leave soon, most likely. So, we're going to make that as good as it can be, but it's all about community. It's all about family. And as you guys know, sometimes it's just the company you keep, not necessarily the house you live in. So that's the approach we're trying to take right now. Until we find a new home. Now, when that happens, it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody, because not only we're going to continue to win, hopefully, but we're going to have a brand new home that's going to have all the elements of modern day sports entertainment that we can provide. So it's going to be, high level and as good as it can be. But for now, we're looking after the fans and delivering the value through, easy access to our tickets, being affordable, and good high-quality entertainment with a lot of food options and just a lot of fun. And I think we've built it up pretty good, and we're still looking for different ways to get people to huddle up and get the crowds to get bigger, because the more, the merrier, and that's how you end up having a lot of fun when the crowds are huge and you get to rally behind a winner and the hometown team.
Well, the one thing that I will say, I know you guys care about the fans. I'm part of a supporter group, and I know that your CEO is going to meet with a group of supporters this Saturday before the match, which I think is awesome because that shows that you guys truly do care about the fans, and the fans are your heart. You know what I mean? If the fans don't show up, it's kind of hard for these players to go out there and play hard when no one's really there to support them. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing, not only on the pitch, but away from the pitch with the fans and all of that, and in the community. That's awesome to see. Now, Jose, before we let you go, can you please let everyone know that has not been to a game or wants to go to a game? How can they get tickets from you guys?
Well, we're using SeatGeek this year for the first time. The experience is super easy. You download the app, or you go and download the Las Vegas Lights FC app. They're both available on Google and on iTunes. It's super easy. And the parking's super easy too. It's very affordable and cheap. Like I said, we're the most attainable sports ticket in town, but we try to deliver the most punch in the fun department. So we have a lot of new food offerings, and we're winning a lot of ball games. We got 3 in a row that we have a great streak going. We're in first place of our division when it comes to the USL Jägermeister Cup, which is the internal cup between clubs in different divisions within USL. And we're about 5th place in the standings right now with a good, really good streak going. And our players are starting to come to their own. Like you mentioned earlier, changing coach sometimes comes with changes in the playing style, and it takes a minute for the players to adapt, but they've done a tremendous job. Our defense is ranked number 1 right now in the league, so we're holding opponents to the least amount of points. We have 5 shutouts. We're playing good, exciting football, so we hope that people show up and get the crowd going and get the players to even play better than what they're capable of with their energy. So looking forward to bring that excitement to Cashman, and hopefully they come out and enjoy.
I love it. Football, baby. Using the universal term. That's what I'm talking about, right?
That's right. That's right. Jose, before I let you go, I have to ask you this question. Please don't hate me for
baseball
doing it.
Correct.
Baseball. You were a monster at the plate with the bat, obviously. We all know that. Everybody that watched baseball, that love home run hitters, you were amazing to watch. Do you think your numbers would have been a lot different if you had the torpedo bat like some of these guys are doing right now?
I don't know. I think it's more the Indian, not the arrow, but maybe if I would have had a little bit of that advantage, it would have been, minor. I don't think it would have been that major. I think pitching today is much tougher than when I came up. So, I think a lot of that has to do with the era in which you get developed as a youth athlete. So sometimes when the pitching and the competition changes so drastically over a short period of time, like it happened with a bunch of guys like me that came up in a decade where the pitching was just completely different. Sometimes we struggle to the back end of our careers, but I really sometimes wish I could have developed in this era and see how I can compete with these guys, because they're throwing 95 every single day, and everybody that comes out of the bullpen has a slider over 90 miles an hour. So it's just something that I never grew up facing every single day. So for me, it was a little tough towards the end, but if I would have grown up facing these type of pitchings, it would have been a whole lot of fun. So that's the only thing that I miss sometimes is the competition and the camaraderie with the guys in the clubhouse, and looking to replace that now with these relationships that I got going on in town with the Lights. So it's been fun.
Jose, you had a chance to play with a handful of teams, right, through your illustrious career. Is there a team that you look to and that you do follow? Obviously, we saw in the World Series last year, we saw the Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. But who's the team that Jose Bautista? A lot of us baseball heads, associate you obviously with the Toronto Blue Jays. But is there a team that you specifically follow?
Oh, 100%. I'm Blue Jays.
Yeah,
forever.
All day, right?
Yeah, all day. I got drafted by the Pirates. They were my first baseball love, but yeah, it's the amount of time that I stayed in Toronto, 10 years. You can't replace that, and pair that up with the success we had. And no doubt, the Blue Jays have my whole heart. So that's my team.
Jose, you were honestly one of my favorite ball players watching, and the fact that I get to talk to you today and interview you just for a bit means the world to me. Thank you so much for hopping on with us and giving us a few moments of your time. Hopefully this isn't the last time, and hopefully next time we can get you in studio to chop it up with us for a bit.
Thanks, Jose.
100%. Thank you, guys. A toda la gente latina también. Nos vamos al estadio.
Vamos. I love it. All right, Jose. Take care,
Have a
brother.
good Tuesday.
All right. See you guys.
Yep.
Jose Bautista, man, aka Joey Bats, new Las Vegas Lights owner. If you guys did not know that, yes, we have a soccer team out here. Yes, it is a professional soccer team. And yes, it is owned by a past MLB legend.
Yes.
So if you know baseball and if you're a home run hitting fan, obviously, then you know who Jose Bautista is. But Chris, what stood out to you from that interview, from what we talked with Jose about?
Oh, the focus to expand on all the positive points that bringing a professional soccer team to Vegas can do. Right now, we do understand the realities of what the landscape is in this town, and kind of the totem. I use the analogy, the totem pole, all the time. Mm-hmm. Right, when you're talking about the focus on the teams here in Las Vegas, and the reality is that this is a league that is a lower tier league, and we have seen the history of what happens in this city, right? For teams, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, from the lower tiers, trying to catch on here in Vegas. So, while I look to it and I do have some question marks, I do love the positivity and the focus and the approach that Jose Bautista is taking, and the Las Vegas Lights with the ability and approach to come to here to Las Vegas and to carve out a niche.
Las Vegas Lights taking on Colorado Switchbacks here in Vegas on Saturday, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Lights sitting at 3-2-2, as where Colorado is sitting at 1-4-3 on the season. If you have not gotten out there, go check it out, man. Las Vegas Boulevard Locals, Electric Company, all those guys hang out right outside. They tailgate, they barbecue, they have a good time. And even if you don't bring anything, you can just show up and they're there. They're going to take care of you. It's an amazing time. Definitely go check it out if you have not. But let's go ahead and run through some baseball scores real quick before we go to our first break of the day here. So far in Major League Baseball, Rangers taking on the Red Sox on the road. Bottom of the first, Rangers up 1-0. Dodgers, top of the fourth, up 1-0 over the Marlins in Miami. Padres on the road taking on the Yankees after beating the Yankees in dramatic fashion last night. 0-0 going to the bottom of the first here. Phillies up 3-0 on the road in Tampa against the Rays, top of the second there. Guardians and Nationals, game 2 of their doubleheader. We're in the top of the second, 0-0. First game of that doubleheader ended 10-9 Nationals over the Guardians. And the other game that we got going on right now is the Reds and the Braves going into the bottom of the first. No score there. Chris, hockey, Hurricanes taking on the Capitals. We got 11 minutes left in the first period. Game 1, round 2. What are you looking to see in this series? Are we going to see more of Ovi? Are we going to see more of an overall team when it comes to the Capitals playing? What are you expecting to see from the Hurricanes as well?
Well, you're definitely going to see some balance, I think, from the Washington Capitals. Capitals, I think, are the favorites in this series. I think they do win this series. I think goaltending is a difference as well, too. Obviously, former, VGK netminder in Logan Thompson, right? Who there was a scare in the previous round when he went off the ice, need to be aided off the ice, but he ends up coming back. He's going to be okay. And so I think he's going to be a huge factor for the nation's capital squad in this series. Also, a quick note, too, NBA score early on, 16-13. The Cavaliers lead the Pacers in Game 2. Of course, kind of a surprise seeing the Pacers come out with a win in Game 1 in that Eastern Conference semifinal series.
We're going to have Mikey D on in hour 2 towards the end of the show. We're going to talk a lot of NBA with him as well. Get his thoughts on what he saw yesterday in the first round, a lot of these second round games. I was shocked. I was really, really shocked yesterday in that Denver game. Yeah. Because that was one of those games where I literally thought, OKC's got it. It's over. No biggie. I had Alex Caruso to go over 16.5 points. The guy got on fire, so I'm okay with that. That's all I cared about. I needed SGA, Chris. SGA needed one more rebound for me to hit a 16-player prop parlay. Can you believe he could not get that last rebound? Jeez, unbelievable. Look, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. After the break, we're going to have our guy Mike Dixon, head coach of the Vegas Knighthawks of the IFL. You and Mike are going to be at the game tonight. Yeah. So not only are we going to talk some Knighthawks, we're going to talk some Golden Knights with both of you. Get your thoughts going into this game 1 here tonight, 6:30 p.m. puck drop. So remember, you're tuning in to SportsX Radio live here on KSHP Radio, 1400 AM, 107.1 on your FM dial. Jose V, Chris Winn, getting you going here on a Fat Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Steiner's, the Nevada Style Pub, invites you to play the best Tavertino and video
Oh,
poker
yeah,
in Vegas.
that's
Promos
baby.
are how we roll to make the most of your gaming
All right,
dollars
Mike's
here with us.
number
Come play our ongoing gaming
is-
promotions and receive daily free play, bonuses, and
So
more.
wait, what do you want me to
Chance
do, by the way?
Knights, Raiders and Aviator tickets and big money with all those jackpots. It's not only the great gaming that Steiner's Pub has, it's the 24 awesome rotating draft beers and best appetizers
what
to
happened
match.
a month
So
for a
join
little
us in
bit?
watching your baseball
Once we
aviators
get
and all your
him
home
off,
sports teams.
then
And we
we
make
can
history
finish
in
talking
Vegas.
Golden Knights.
Steiner's, the Nevada Style Pub at 8410 West Cheyenne, 1750 North Buffalo, and Las Vegas Boulevard and Windmill. Steiner, I love this place.
Right where Chris is?
Into his speaker?
No. Underneath. Underneath, like
Hey,
where
bartender, what'd you learn at school?
There?
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, I see. Like in that thing, right? In the
In the
box.
computer?
Yep.
Just anyone?
Any of them.
Oh, yeah.
Mikey D.
So it looked
Mike
like
Gates.
the camera wasn't. Oh, there we go.
So I.
I'm gonna turn mine on or what? Oh, there we go. Start camera. There we go. Wait. Oh no, it's using this one. It's using this
Yeah,
one.
no. Don't let it use that one.
So then wait. How do?
Check this one.
It's, what do you mean check?
Oh, kill. Why is that one not plugged in?
It is plugged in. Can you have two cameras on the same one?
Yeah.
He's asking if we're calling him.
Yeah, give it a minute. Oh, you have to upgrade to the extra camera. That's what the issue is.
So I'll just leave it on this.
Steiner, the Nevada Style Pub invites you to play the best.
Well, I'll just use this one that it already has.
Yeah.
Forklift
Seems
University.
like that one
Learn
was-
to
This
drive a
one's better?
forklift now. Forklift University, centrally located near Sahara and the I-50, with one-day
got
classes
22
and
viewers,
small
23
class
viewers.
sizes,
All
which
right,
means
people watch.
lots of drive time. Forklift
looks a little
University.
better.
This is the only
Good.
forklift certification training you'll
Yeah.
need. Mention
not-
this
it's
ad and
not-
receive
not as
10%
legit.
off enrollment.
It is.
Forklift University.
I mean, it's
Bro, you know what it
Drive a
is? It's the
forklift at
fucking Wi-Fi. You're hardwired. I'm not.
forkliftuniversity.com.
It sucks.
Looking for your next
Call 'em up.
adventure on the road? Finley Toyota has you covered.
314
With an unbeatable selection of
323
brand new Toyotas,
5866.
you'll find the perfect ride to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Whether it's the rugged Tacoma, the adventurous RAV4, or the powerful Tundra, at Finley Toyota, we make financing easy and stress-free, no matter your credit situation. Finley Toyota, driven to excellence. At the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson or online at finleytoyota.com.
There's super, and then there's super. The Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas. The largest, most exciting race and sports book in the world. Home of the Super Contest and Super Contest Gold. The largest wagering venue in Nevada. Walls of 4K LED screen. Free Wi-Fi. Convenient parking right outside the book. 30,000 square feet of action. And action outside the book on the Westgate Superbook app. Available in the App Store. Wager anywhere inside Nevada State Line. The Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas. Where the action is. Think all guitars are pretty much the same? They're not. The guitars from Wild Audio are better, bolder, stunningly beautiful, and offer a playability unmatched by even the legacy guitar. Wild Audio guitars, tailor-made for Black Label Society frontman and Pantera reunion guitarist Zakk Wylde. Guitars from Wild Audio come in the most amazing shapes and finishes. Then when you plug them in, wow, the sound, the fret reach, the playability. See why Slash, Kirk Hammett, Brad Paisley, and more are wild about their Wild Audio guitars. And they've got basses, acoustic guitars, accessories, and left-handed instruments too. Wild Audio guitars for craftsmanship, durability, versatility, and oh my god, the sound. Visit wild-audio.com. That's WYLDE-audio.com. And go wild.
Jose Volonte, Chris Winn. You are tuned in to
Vortex Radio here on KSHP Radio, 1400 AM, 107.1 on your FM dial. Big shout out to our guy, Jose Bautista, Joey Batch, for joining us in hour number 1. Greatly appreciated for jumping on. Give you guys a quick little another update here in the NBA. Cleveland is up 27-15. First quarter, 118 to go there in that game. Not a hot start from anyone, but Donovan Mitchell got 10 points already in the game. Chris, 2 assists. So we'll see how that goes. 3 for 9 shooting.
Jose,
Not the greatest overall.
Parker talked about this with KT yesterday. It's that zigzag, right, in the NBA. You get a team that gets the upset in a game 1 or gets an upset in any game early in a series, right? And it almost feels like the team's going to bounce back. Yeah. And it seems like that's a situation. Look, we got a long way to go. A lot of basketball left. But Cleveland looking like they're kind of, putting the foot on the gas a little bit there in that game, too.
And I just want to tell you real quick, congratulations. I know you guys didn't get past the first round, but a lot of promise for the Detroit Pistons, let's be real.
Yeah, no question. When you got a young core like that, and you didn't have one of your key guys in Jaden Ivey, right? Jaden Ivey's been injured for the better part of the season. And, we've all talked about, obviously, the emergence of Cade Cunningham as legitimately a superstar, I think, in this league. And then, of course, guys like Jalen Duren, right? And, of course, the young kid Thompson as well, too, the other Thompson twin with this team. And they're going to be tough. So Malik Beasley, kind of a breakout season for him as well, too. So a lot of reasons to be upbeat if you're a Detroit Pistons fan.
So let's talk some football, Chris.
Yeah.
And not NFL, talk some local football here, some IFL football. Yes, for those of you that do not know, we do have another professional football team that's not the Raiders, Vegas Knighthawks, owned by the Vegas Golden Knights. We got our guy, Mike Davis, on the line, head coach, joining us here live after Saturday's win at home at Lee's Family Forum. Mike, greatly appreciate you for a little bit of your time, my man. I know you're trying to get to the Knights game, but thank you for jumping on with us a little bit here. How you doing?
Man, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So talk to us about Saturday night, man. You were fired up again. Chris Winn was there. Chris Winn said that you were very animated, and I've been noticing that this season compared to last season.
Par for the course, though, Jose.
There,
that's how he goes down every game.
Excited.
Yeah.
It's funny. I actually went into the season like, hey, I'm going to be a little more calm. That hasn't really worked out yet.
That was the plan. That was the plan, Coach.
That was the plan, Mike.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm trying to keep the blood pressure low the whole time, and it hasn't really worked out yet.
So, Mike, after the first home game that you guys had, I was there. I talked to you after the game, and you said that some changes needed to be made, obviously, whether it's personnel or coaching or whatever that may have been. What movements have you made so far from that game when it comes to your actual roster and everything else?
Well, we started, obviously, we gave Jaden DeLora, we benched Jerome and gave Jaden DeLora the start at San Antonio, and he managed the game well, didn't have any turnovers, and so he started against Naz, and unfortunately, in the first half, he came in and tweaked his hand, and so Jerome, got another shot to control the offense, and we were able to get a win. So for us, it's just when we take care of the football, we're a pretty dominant football team, and then we're able to create some turnovers defensively, and when we do that and both sides are clicking, we can be as good as anybody in the league. But when we don't, you can get beat by any team at any point.
And then, Mike, you talked about Jerome. On April 11th, when you guys had your home game against San Diego, he got hurt in the second half, or at least it looked like it did. He came out, but then he came back into the game. Any injuries or anything like that we should know about when it comes to Jerome for the rest of the season?
No, not at all. He's healthy. He's you can't make rookie mistakes as a veteran quarterback. And if you're going to make rookie mistakes, you might as well go with a rookie and see what type of upside he's got. So, it's all part of it. And he's responded well. And for us, he just, that the quarterback position is the catalyst of everything. So, they got to play well and keep the team on their back.
Yeah, and speaking of injuries, right, Coach? It's a sign of a quality football team, right, where you're able to roll with the punches and make adjustments, and that's what you had to do, right, in that second quarter, of course, with Jaden going down and Jerome coming in there and able to perform and to really be a big key for you guys down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. He can be as good as anybody in the league, when he's doing the right stuff, and when he's not, then he's just. Anybody can be average when they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
You take a look at your team from an offense standpoint, first of all, in this game. Terry, big-time game for him, right? 3 touchdown catches, most by any receiver in a game so far this season. Also had over 40 yards in this game. But when it comes to your offense, do you feel like it's your receiving core that's going to be the core that's going to get you guys going?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you surround your quarterback with weapons, and I think, for us, we probably have some of the best receivers in the league, and as a core, it's probably the best, if not one of the top 2 or 3 in the league. And so that's always helps when you got a quarterback to throw to weapons. I mean, you can ask Tom Brady, ask any pro quarterback. Good receivers make you a better quarterback, and which makes you a better offense. So for us, we just have to make sure we stay on the same page and not turn the ball over. When we do that, we can be as good as anybody.
So another home game for you guys this Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff. Mike, you guys take on the San Antonio Gunslingers. What are you doing to prepare for them?
They had a bye week last week, so we played them 2 weeks ago and beat them at home at their place. And they're a team that has made a coaching change a couple weeks ago, right before we played them, and they're trying to find their identity. And let's just hope that they don't find their identity for us. I mean, they're big. I mean, they have a great receiving core, kind of like ours. And their defense is probably playing better than people thought it would right now. But again, can you withstand that? And if our offense is clicking, I think we can put points on anybody. So we just got to make sure that we take care of our business.
And, Coach, you got to feel good, right, about your defense. Talk about some guys stepping up. Adam Plant, of course, former UNLV Rebel, 8 tackles in this game, including a sack and a half as well, too. Obviously, Claude, big-time game as well, too, his 3rd sack of the season. And, of course, Williams and also James Caesar, right? James Caesar, big-time play there that can be a game-changing type play in that situation. Got to be pleased with what you saw on that side of the football.
Yeah, our defense is, from a points per game perspective, we played well. The problem we have right now is, we give up 2 or 3 third and longs a game where we can just get off the field and really, really help our offense. And we find a way to stub our toe or do something, make a bonehead mistake and give the offense a little bit of confidence. And then we got to fight a little harder to stop them next time. So again, it comes back to us. Like, everything we're doing is self-imposed and self-inflicted. And we just got to, our standard for ourselves has to be better. Like, the coaches, my staff, myself and the staff, we believe that we can be the best in the league. And once the players start believing that and playing like it, then, like I said, we'll be dangerous.
Once again, Jose V, Chris Winn, you're tuning to SportsX Radio live here on KSHP 1400, 107.1 FM. We're joined on the phone lines by Mike Davis, head coach of the Vegas Knighthawks of the IFL. You guys are sitting at 4-2 now, Mike. Little bit of a winning streak here. Aside from the defense that Chris just talked about, 3-game winning streak. Yep. Aside from the defense and everything that Chris just talked about, what do you want to work on, though? There obviously has to be something that you want to fix that probably isn't to your standards just yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. Offensively, we're not as efficient as we were last year. Defensively, we're not getting off the field on 3rd and longs, and like, we probably missed a half a dozen or so or more interceptions where we just misplayed the ball or we should have had it in our hands and we haven't. And, again, like, we could really be putting some pressure on teams if we just take care of our business and be efficient on both sides. And if we do that, like I said, we will be potent coming down the stretch.
So I do have one question to ask you. The NFL draft obviously has already come and gone. There's a lot of players that get signed that don't get signed. Some are still waiting for a job. Do you look at any of these players? Are you also scouting the NFL draft for the guys that don't get drafted?
Yeah, absolutely. I was on the phone with a handful of agents today talking about their guys who didn't get drafted, or they don't think they're getting a mini camp invite, or they had a mini camp invite last week, and they didn't get signed. And what are my needs and things like that. So it's a constant. Hey, I don't want to completely revamp the roster, but if there's players out there that can make us better, I'd be a fool not to look at them.
Yeah, because especially given that when you're talking the NFL draft, right? There absolutely are going to be guys that we look at it, I mean, and I'll describe it like this: guys we look at as blue chip talents, right? But they just don't fit into or have an opportunity necessarily at the highest level, which is the NFL. And they could be absolutely a piece that could fit in with your program, right, Coach? There with the Knighthawks or with another team in the IFL, for example, where it's an opportunity at exposure and a chance to get on the field and play.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to an agent today, and he's like, well, what do you think? I'm like, well, any team right now is looking at a guy is he being stagnant? Like, what are you doing to get better? What are you doing to keep your skill set tough and tight? And most teams nowadays, me included, they want guys who love to play football, right? So if you're a guy who's like, I'd rather sit at home and just wait, you don't really love it, in my opinion. Right. So if you're a guy who's like, hey, I don't care where it is, I need to continue to get film and work on my craft, and it'll make me better.
What are your thoughts on the actual turnout? How do you think the turnout has been with the fans now? A couple years, you guys are here, league is here. Are you seeing a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, obviously winning helps.
Yeah, for sure.
People like seeing like watching winners, and that's through and through. I mean, heck, look at VGK, they're constantly been good at that, and they pack that place out. So for us, it's just, if you look at it, what happened last year and us turning the corner and getting in the playoffs, and you saw the turnout as we were coming down the stretch and for the playoffs, the crowd continues to get better. It's just, there's still a lot of people that don't know about us, unfortunately, and that's sad on our part. But it's a work in progress. We're trying to do more stuff in the community from a team perspective, just to continue to get our name out there, and we'll continue to win football games and put a great product on the field. And when people do give us a chance and they come out, it's very affordable family entertainment, and you see some real guys out there.
Coach Mike Davis with a sweet radio transition, Jose, right there, talking a little bit Golden Knights, because there's the question that kind of goes down that road I want to ask you, Coach. Now, obviously, Bill Foley owning both the Vegas Knighthawks and the Vegas Golden Knights, I would seem to think that there would be some type of, what kind of, I guess I'll ask the question this way. What does it mean for you and your team to have I'll use the word proximity, right, to an organization like the Vegas Golden Knights, to see what they're doing as far as in the NHL, their success when it comes to the sport of hockey, and how that can be some type of an effect on you and your guys in the IFL?
Well, at first, I think it's just a standard.
Yeah.
Like, what is the standard, right? The standard is we're going to create a winner, we're going to have a great environment, and we're going to produce wins. Yeah. So when you do that, things kind of fall into place, and things take care of themselves. For us, I don't have too much overlap. Like, obviously, I talk to Coach Cassidy once a week. We have, we'll text back and forth during the playoffs, and we text back and forth during the season. Like, we play golf a few times. And, it's interesting, when you have a conversation, you ask different questions, like, hey, how do you handle this? How did you handle this? Or things like that. And he's very open, but as far as team goes, there's not much overlap. There's not any interaction, just because, that's, the NHL in that situation is, that's their baby, right? For us, I have way more of an open door policy, we're open to the fans, we're open to the public. You come see us anytime. Like, we're an open book. Yeah. Because that's what it takes to get in the community and have access. And our guys need that. They have to learn that.
So is there pressure on both of you and the guys, though, based off of what the Golden Knights are doing, having Foley as an owner? Does that put more pressure not only on you but your team as well to succeed?
No, the expectation is set by myself and the staff when we recruit the kids. Like, obviously, we're going to put up a winner, and we're going to have great entertainment, and if you do that, you have a better opportunity to get to the CFL or the NFL or the UFL or whatever your heart desires. But it's hard to get anywhere and advance any career if you don't win.
Coach Davis mentioned it, Jose. Him and Coach Cassidy on the links. I'm no disrespect, Coach,
I'd like
but
to see that.
Those hockey players, man. I don't know who's taking more money off each other if you guys are even doing that, but who's getting the better of each other on the golf course. But those hockey players can play some golf there, Coach Mike Davis. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen some guys absolutely just rip it, right?
Yeah.
I'm more of a laid back. Hey, I'm out there. I'm gonna keep the ball in the fairway and play my game. I used to be that way when I was younger. Like, I'll try to hit it with as far as anybody.
Rip it and rip it, baby.
Yeah, that's not my style anymore. I'm trying to. I want to be where I know where I want to be after my first shot, and I know where I want to be after my second. So,
Mike, so you are going to the game tonight. Chris and you will definitely be there catching that game. You mind if we talk a little bit of Golden Knights with you? We want to get your thoughts. You've been going to the games. You go to these games. Obviously, you're part of the organization with the Knighthawks. What are you expecting to see from the Knights in this series against Edmonton? Obviously, it's not going to be no cupcake. It's going to be a tough series. We saw what Edmonton did in the last series. Golden Knights getting it done as well. What are you expecting from the Knights in round 2?
Well, I mean, I think probably just similar stuff to what you saw in the first series. You know, with them. You know, like, that team was young and big and physical, and Edmonton's the same way. I mean, obviously, you know, you probably see a guy that'll go down as one of the best hockey players ever, and Connor McDavid. You know, Edmonton is a big physical team as well. Obviously, I think that, you know, it's nice because the matchups for me, just, you know, and I'm not a hockey guru by no means, but just when you look at bodies and how they match up, I think, you know, you got to love what they can do offensively, and then, you know, when they are struggling, you know, it seems defensively they seem to find a way to kind of put pressure on teams and kind of smother them back to the midline and go from there.
For all you betting heads out there, Vegas coming in at -140 tonight. Puck line plus 170, over and under, sitting at over 6.5 at -130. Chris, end of the first period, Carolina and Washington at a donut right now. No score there. But Chris, what are you expecting to see tonight?
Yeah, so a lot, kind of along the lines of what Coach Davis is talking about, and this is not even just specific to the NHL or the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's every sport, right? Every time you move on to the next round, you get the feeling that you're stepping up in class a little bit, right? You're going up against more talent, and that's really the situation here. No disrespect to the Minnesota Wild, right? Who put up a very effective fight against the Vegas Golden Knights. But when you look at the Edmonton Oilers, right, what do you think? Obviously, you think of Draisaitl, you think of McDavid, and some of these other pieces. But you do, I do, and you do notice they're just much more talent, I think, when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers than there is for the Minnesota Wild. So Vegas is going to have to step their game up a little bit, particularly when it comes to their first line, right? And I think of immediately, the first guy I think of, right, Coach Davis and Jose, is Jack Eichel, right? Jack Eichel obviously gets a goal in the final game of the opening series, but really wasn't a guy that was lighting the lamp a whole lot in that first series. So I'm expecting Jack, and I'm sure he's going to take ownership on this himself to step up a little bit. But they're going to have to get some more offense from the guys, particularly in the top six, as far as their forwards are concerned. Defensively, I think they're fine. You know, we'll see. Injury situation, obviously, with Pavel Dorofeyev is a huge key to the series as well, too. But make no mistake about it. When you advance in rounds, whether it's the IFL, whether it's the NHL, whether it's the NFL playoffs, and Major League Baseball playoffs, you're getting up against better teams as you advance to the next round. Yep.
Mike Davis, head coach of the Vegas Knighthawks, joining us here. Mike, we greatly appreciate your time, my man. 6 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. Let everyone know where they can get tickets and how they can get out there.
Perfect. You know, obviously anybody can get tickets at nighthawksfootball.com, and you know, there's still tickets available for this, Henderson Heroes Night and things like that. So, like I said, if you look at something Saturday, it's a great time. It's you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, community leaders from Henderson going to be in attendance as well, too. First 3,000 fans get a Vegas Knighthawks comic book, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So it should be a good time with the Hometown Heroes Night coming up this May 10th on Saturday.
Yeah. Mike, greatly appreciate your time. Enjoy the game with the family. Take care, and we'll talk soon, my man.
Mike, have a great week,
Perfect.
all right?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Perfect. You guys too.
Mike Davis joining us here on the show. Good stuff there. Vegas Knighthawks, if you haven't checked them out, please go do so. Lee's Family Forum in Henderson.
Very much in the vein, right, Jose, of a lot of the coaches here in Vegas. Straightforward, great with the media, right? Very candid, and Mike's right there with him. With Bruce Cassidy and now Pete Carroll, of course, with the Raiders here in town too. So got a good bunch of coaches here in Vegas for the teams out here.
7 minutes to go in the second quarter. 42-29, Cleveland leads Indiana.
Not a surprise.
In game
Not a
2
surprise, right?
of the semifinals
Yeah.
there of the East Side. Not a surprise. I mean, but it was a surprise when we saw Indiana
Bounce back,
going in there and just
Bounce
come in
back
there
game.
and do what they did. But look, Chris is going to be taking off here shortly. He's got to get to the game. We already know that he's going to enjoy it. I got other
Stay
things
for another segment.
that I got to do. Are you going to stay for a
I'll
little bit?
stay for,
of a
yeah,
second?
till-
Okay. So here's the thing. The next hour, first half of the next hour, I did post this on all social media.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to give us a call, I want callers. I want people to call in. We want to open up the phone lines because normally KT doesn't do that, right? He doesn't like doing that. But we're going to go ahead and open up the phone line, 702-221-7283. Whatever it is we're talking about, we want you guys to jump on in, chime in, give us your emotional outbursts, your feedback, or whatever it may be. But maybe there's something that you want to talk about. Maybe there's something that's on your mind that we still have not brought up. Then talk about it with us. Gripe with us, argue with us, fight with us. I do not care. I just want some people to call in. I want some people to let us know what they got. And let's have some fun, man. Chris, I know you're going to be here for hour 2, so I greatly appreciate you. We're going to talk some more Golden Knights, but I'm going to throw this out there before we go on the break. Tomas Hertl plus 185, anytime goal scorer. That's what I'm riding with in this game. Not touching no size, not touching anything else. Anything that you're looking at.
I'm definitely taking a look at Jack Eichel as well as Barbashev. Anytime goals in this game.
Plus
if you're just talking
310?
about, plus 310. Also Draisaitl on the Edmonton side too as well. Too. I'm looking at him as far as goal scoring. Might even be willing to take a shot too on maybe like a Noah Hannafin, right?
Okay.
On the blue line, getting a tally in this one, and of course. And then, also there's guys like Shea Theodore where you're not going to get as much value, but you can still get something that is going to be realistic that they're going to have a chance to light the lamp.
Jose V. Chris Winn, hour number 1 in the books. We are live from PSR Law Studios here in Las Vegas. You're tuning to SportsX Radio, 107.1 on the FM dial, 1400 on the AM, and of course worldwide at sportsxradio.com. KT taking the night off. He's at the Diamondbacks game, enjoying that. Thank you to Jose Bautista and Mike Davis for joining us in hour 1. Mikey D coming up in the second half of hour number 2. Chris going to hang out with us. Make sure you stay here locked in. Remember, 702-221-7283. Call us in hour number 2. We'll be back.
Niners, the Nevada South Pub invite you to play the best tavern, casino, and video poker in Vegas. Promos are how we roll, so make the most of your gaming dollars here with us. Come play in our ongoing gaming promotions and receive daily free play, bonuses, and more. With a chance to win Knights, Raiders, and Aviator tickets, and big money with all those jackpots. It's not only the great gaming that Niners Pub has, it's the 24 awesome rotating draft beers and best appetizers in match. So join us in listening to the USC Trojans, LA Rams, and all your home sports teams as we make history in Vegas. Niners, the Nevada South Pub at 8410 West Cheyenne, 1750 North Buffalo, and Las Vegas Boulevard in Windmill. Niners, I love this place.
Forklift University. Learn to drive a forklift now. Forklift University, centrally located near Sahara and the I-50, with one-day classes and small class sizes, which means lots of drive time. Forklift University. This is the only forklift certification training you'll need. Mention this ad and receive 10% off enrollment. Forklift University. Learn to drive a forklift at forkliftuniversity.com.
This is John Barr, General Manager at Finley Toyota. Been thinking about getting a new truck? Now's the time. We've got huge incentives on the powerful Toyota Tundra and Tacoma. These trucks are built to handle anything you throw at them. With these deals, they're more affordable than ever. But these offers won't last. Come see us at Finley Toyota before they're gone. We'll make sure you drive off in the truck you've always wanted at the price you deserve. Finley Toyota, Nevada's #1 selling dealership at the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson.
Hey, bartender, what'd you learn in school?
Snapper, kamikaze, long and nasty, black Russian fuzzy nigga, and the sex on the beat, margarita, bloody Mary, so cheap. Learn to make rocks with a twist. Left the school to attend, and I go on it. 10.
Are you a shy smiler, terrified of any food tougher than tofu? Do you wish there was some sort of reverse tooth fairy who puts teeth back into your mouth? If so, then AQ Denture and Dental Implant Center in Henderson might be able to help. AQ is an in-network provider for Medicare dental plans and one of the most technically advanced dental offices in the Valley. Dr. Maricondia is an internationally recognized expert in implant dentistry, and AQ's on-site lab means your custom implants, dentures, bridges, crowns, and more are ready faster and fit better. Call AQ Dental for a free consultation at 702-565-6000 or visit aqdentureservice.com. That's 702-565-6000. Dr. Maricondia may not be the reverse tooth fairy, but he can help restore your smile to its former glory. New smile, new you. Just call AQ. Think all guitars are pretty much the same? They're not. The guitars from Wild Audio are better, bolder, stunningly beautiful, and offer a playability unmatched by even the legacy guitar. Wild Audio guitars, tailor-made for Black Label Society frontman and Pantera reunion guitarist Zakk Wylde. Guitars from Wild Audio come in the most amazing shapes and finishes. Then when you plug them in, wow, the sound, the fret reach, the playability. See why Slash, Kirk Hammett, Brad Paisley, and more are wild about their Wild Audio guitars. And they've got basses, acoustic guitars, accessories, and left-handed instruments too. Wild Audio guitars for craftsmanship, durability, versatility, and oh my God, the sound. Visit wild-audio.com. That's WYLDE-audio.com. And go wild. There's super, and then there's super. The Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas. The largest, most exciting race and sportsbook in the world. Home of the Super Contest and Super Contest Gold. The largest wagering menu in Nevada. Walls of 4K LED screens. Free Wi-Fi. Convenient parking right outside the book. 30,000 square feet of action. And action outside the book on the Westgate Superbook app. Available in the App Store. Wager anywhere inside Nevada State Line. The Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas. Where the action is. Sports X Radio, weekday afternoons at 4 on KSHP, North Las Vegas, FM, AM, K2968P, North Las Vegas, and KSHP.com. Welcome back from halftime. It's just after 5 o'clock in the big city. Time to continue America's favorite Las Vegas sports show, Sports X Radio with Ken Thompson.
Yeah, what up? Party's going on.
Duh.
Sports X Radio with Ken Thompson is brought to you by Hannah Shea and Ravaputis, trial lawyers that get results. The Westgate Superbook. It's the largest in the world. Crescent School of Gaming and Bartending, the only school of its kind in the U.S. Finley Toyota. John Barr will do anything to sell you a car. Steiner's Pub, a true Nevada-style pub. And Forklift University, the best forklift training in the Valley. So get ready, because Sports X Radio with Ken Thompson starts now.
Sports X Radio live here on KSHP 1400 AM, 107.1 on your FM dial, and of course, streaming worldwide on Sports X Radio, live from PSR Law Studios. My guy Chris Winn in the booth with me today, as our guy Ken Thompson is taking the night off. He's hanging out at the Diamondbacks game, covering that tonight. Why not? The guy lives in Arizona. Might as well give him some time over there. But big shout out to our guests, Jose Bautista and Mike Davis, for joining us live in hour number one. Give you guys a quick little update here in the NBA playoffs. Cleveland up 52-40, Chris, on Indiana. 3:42 to go there in the game. Let's check out the box score. I want to see where Donovan Mitchell is at now. Earlier, I told you he was at 10 points. Yep. He's now sitting at 14. Jared Allen with 8. And Sam Merrill, Mountain West
Utah
guy.
State.
Mountain West guy, got 9 points here in the first half. 3 for 4 from 3-point land. Chris,
he's been a guy,
taking
Jose,
advantage of his spot.
during the regular season, right? He was playing some minutes. He wasn't playing, end of the bench, last 3 minutes of the game minutes. He's playing. They're playing him in the first, second, and every quarter of the game. So he's going to be somebody they look to for some offense when it comes to this postseason.
And the most overrated player in the NBA, which was voted on by his peers, Tyrese Halliburton, 3 for 3 to start the game, 1 of 1 from 3-point land, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. We'll see if Indiana can figure it out and get this turned around. They're making a little bit of a push here, Chris. Down 9 now, make that 11. Cleveland just scored again 3 minutes ago. But you and I were talking about the Golden Knights. Let's kind of backtrack into some hockey here. But before we get into the Golden Knights, I want to get your thoughts again. I know this has already ended. We've already moved into the second round. But a few nights ago, the way that St. Louis Blues game ended, 1.6 seconds left on the clock, and you allow them to tie the game. How gut-wrenching must that have been for those players and the coaching staff to see that end that way and, of course, lose in double overtime? Just unbelievable.
A little perspective, too, right? They had 3 minutes of empty net time where if you're the St. Louis Blues, you have to score an empty netter there.
Yep.
KT texted me that, and it was a great point that he made when it came to that game. You can't not score there in that situation. And then on top of it, not only do you not score, but you give up 2 goals, right? And you end up losing the game in OT. There's been a lot of narrative out there, right? A lot of talking heads dropping this take out there of how do the Blues recover from this, right? How do players ever recover from this the rest of their careers? Because it is such a mind-jarring, shocking type of way to end it wasn't like it was game 3 or game 4, and you still, it was not it was game 7 and a chance to continue on and possibly win a Stanley Cup. Even though the Blues aren't one of the favorites, you understand my point.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole roster, right, this whole room, as they say in the NHL, deals with that loss, because that was rough. And you talked about at the top of the show, this Stanley Cup playoffs, this first round, particularly this past weekend. Are you kidding me? With the game 7s and with the endings and how things went down, and then Jose Vellante, it continues into yesterday, last night, where you get a game where you almost felt like it was automatic that the Florida Panthers were going to tie that game up against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Given the Maple Leafs' recent history when it comes to playoffs, I don't need to expand on it. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. So it's already been an outstanding Stanley Cup playoff, and I believe that's going to continue again tonight. You see the score with the Capitals and Carolina Hurricanes game, and then of course heading over to T-Mobile for this matchup with the Golden Knights and the Oilers.
I love it, Chris. A lot of scoring has been going on in these playoffs, which is what you want to see. You don't want to see defensive games. Obviously, defensive battles are nice to watch, but when you get all these goals going into the net, all these pucks getting in there, it's fun to watch. And not only that, we had a lot of games where teams were down 2, 3, 4 goals and we're coming back without hesitation, right? So I love what we're seeing in this NHL playoffs. It's exciting. It's fun. Hopefully more fans continue to watch that, especially here in Vegas. We got the Vegas Golden Knights. You and I were talking about that earlier. Knights are basically used to making it to the playoffs, right? Only missed the playoffs 1 year in their existence. They're here again. One of the top teams going into the team, obviously. One of the favorites if you're ever a homer here in Vegas. But I want to get your thoughts on this series coming up tonight, right? Edmonton is no joke. We talked about Connor McDavid. We talked about the team that they have, how they play. What do the Knights have to do to not only control him, but control the team in general?
Yeah, let's set it up. So, second time, right, in 3 seasons that you're playing the Edmonton Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup playoffs in the second round, right? And, of course, it's the most memorable is 2023, obviously, when the Golden Knights were able to knock off Edmonton and then go on to win their first ever Stanley Cup, right? And you could argue that and by the way, there's so many narratives when it comes to this series, both from an offensive standpoint and from a goaltending and defensive standpoint. But going back to that series, you could argue that was Aiden Hill's turning point in his career. Why? Because Broussard got hurt, right? LB got hurt and he had to come in and play, and he was lights out the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And, of course, they went on to win the Stanley Cup, and now Aiden Hill is who Aiden Hill is today. And now he's coming off a series in which he was instrumental in the final 3 games, all victories, by the way, against the Minnesota Wild, where he was standing on his head. I mean, they're talking about over 900 save percentage, outstanding, right? Goals against, unbelievable. So, you could argue that series back in 2023 really was kind of a changed trajectory of Aiden Hill's career. Now let's fast forward to this series, right? From an offensive standpoint, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You got a lot of guys that can score on both of these teams. It's not just all about Draisaitl and McDavid. If you're talking about Edmonton, there's a number of guys on that team that can score goals. And with Vegas, obviously, we mentioned a little bit with Coach Mike Davis. You're talking about the likes of Jack Eichel. You're talking about Mark Stone. You're talking about Barbashev. You're talking about Riley Smith, and so on and so on and so forth. Vegas, to me, is the deepest team in the West. Okay, do I think they're the best team? I don't know, but they're definitely, I think, the deepest team when it comes to all-around talent. So to me, it's going to be about the top 6 for both teams. Who scores the most? Who puts up the most offense? It may sound like a Captain Obvious take, but it isn't really. Because and the reason why, and by the way, change as far as head coaches when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers. Woodcroft was the coach back in 2023. He's not the coach anymore. It's obviously Chris Knobloch, no relation to Chuck Knobloch, one of Jose's guys from the Yankees. But the point being is that, so a coaching change there makes it a different series. There's a number of reasons why it's a different series from 2023 to 2025. But these coaches, the way they operate when it comes to their top guys and their lines is also different. Bruce Cassidy, not afraid to go into the chemistry lab and tweak things a little bit, right? Mix up his lines a little bit.
Yep.
He'll roll 4 lines, but a lot of times he'll make changes mid-game where guys are going on different lines.
Yeah.
So that to me is going to be interesting to see how he handles that. And then of course with Edmonton and their head coach and Knobloch. Are you going to play Draisaitl and McDavid together, or are you going to have them on separate lines? Right. That's another thing that's kind of up in the air here. That especially casual fans don't really know that situation. So it's going to be fun to watch that whole dynamic with the forwards going at it. But at the end of the day, my take, and I'll pass it to you. These teams are very even. I think there's a lot of similarities between these two teams, and it is super tight. And it reflected in the betting numbers, right, Jose? Mm-hmm. When this series opened up, what was it? -110 each side for Edmonton and Vegas. So obviously, there's going to be some homer, even from the media and myself and others in the media like ourselves. There may be some homerism as far as, okay, so if they're both teams are even, Vegas should take the series.
Yeah.
Okay, you can have that take, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be fun to watch, and I don't see any way, shape, or form or any other scenario in which either one of these teams doesn't play at least 6 games in the series.
San Diego takes the lead on my Yankees in the top of the 4th, 1-0 San Diego. But going back to the Golden Knights, the thing about this series, though, is that both teams just came out of a rough series. Mm-hmm. Both teams went extended. You know what I mean? It wasn't a sweep. It wasn't something easy. I mean, Golden Knights went to 2 back-to-back overtime games that they had to win. Edmonton with what they had to go through in their previous series. So I understand the betting numbers. I understand why they came out to where they're at. So if you're a betting person, I say wait for game 1 to be done, and then see where you want to go to the series. If you don't want to bet the series, bet individually. I like betting goal scorers. I told you, I'm taking Tomas Hertl tonight, +185. I think he gets on the board. He got on the board earlier in that series. So, and not only that, he was hot when he came back. You know what I mean? I think he can continue to stay hot. The one guy that I'm worried about, though, is Mark Stone. I truly don't believe that he's 100% healthy again, just like he has the last couple of years in the playoffs, coming in after the injuries, right? But we'll see how that goes. We have a caller on the line here. All right, caller, you are tuned in. Hey, what's going on? Who are we speaking with?
Yeah, this is Josh. Huge fan of you, Jose Volante. Huge fan. Ever since your podcast days, I've always tuned in. So, long-time listener, first-time caller. I don't know what the topic is right now, but I'm going to tell you right now. New York Football Giants are going to the bowl next year.
You gotta go some NFC East talk right in the middle of Golden Knights talk, right, Jose? Nothing wrong with that. Hey,
we're going to the bowl.
Makes all kinds of sense, baby.
So let me ask you a question, Josh.
Hey, Josh, in fairness to you, Josh, he did drop a New York Yankees score in the middle of the Vegas Golden Knights. So Josh, you're not totally out of line, bro, because one of our co-hosts here, he dropped some Yankee scores. So that's fine.
So I'm gonna take a wild guess and say you're from New York for some reason.
Yeah,
you know that, right? Hey, listen. New York Football Giants, we're going to the bowl. We killed the draft. I'm calling back in February.
Lawrence Taylor's not walking through that door.
Anytime
Phil
soon.
Simms is not walking through that door. Hey, I'm going to tell you something
He
else.
hung up.
Not
He said
even,
I'm out.
not even
Mic
Julio-
drop.
Mike,
Not even Victor Cruz is walking through that door, my friends. Or what does he do? He shimmies
Yeah,
through that door.
salsa.
He's not even salsaing through that door, folks.
but here's the thing. He said I'll call back in February.
There you
February
go.
of what year? Because you guys ain't going to the Super Bowl next year.
Is he going to call? Wait, that's what I'm saying. He's going to call back on Super Bowl Sunday in February in 2026, and thinking that the Giants are going to be in the Super Bowl.
Oh my God!
It's a big wish, my friend.
See, and that's
Big
why I
one.
wanted to open up the phone lines. Thank you, Josh, whoever that was, for calling in. 702-221.
Hey, Jose, there may be a reason
Give us
KT
a
doesn't
call
take
back.
phone calls on
Right?
Sports X
Right?
Radio.
Hey, but we gotta switch it up, man. We gotta make it
Good stuff.
interesting. Yeah, definitely.
Another
But-
question, though, too, right?
Yeah,
in
go
this
for it.
series
Yeah.
is Edmonton, right? What are they going to? What's Knobloch going to do as far as the netminders, right? Because Stuart Skinner, there's a thought process that Stuart Skinner's going to be back and playing, but or does he stay with Calvin? Pickard. Obviously, Vegas Golden Knights fan know who Calvin Pickard is, but that's kind of up in the air as well, too. So, much like when you talk about teams, and this is especially true in baseball and in hockey, I think a little bit more than in basketball and other sports, where you're really kind of like you're hanging question marks over the heads of the other teams, right? When it comes to the NFL too, right? When it comes to the injury list, right? Guys that are questionable, but they're not really questionable, or guys that are, you know what I mean? So it is a question mark as far as what Edmonton's going to do at the goaltending position as well, too.
I say stick with what works and what got you there at this point. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough. Obviously, you got to figure out how you're going to stop the Golden Knights on the offensive side. They get a lot of shots on goal, and they have throughout the last couple series, but you also got to get that puck in the net, and that's the biggest thing overall, Chris. I want to shift gears, though, because we also got Aces going on tonight. I know it's a preseason game. It's only it's second and only other preseason game, which is weird because they don't really play much preseason. It's a lot more of practice and training camp. They only had 2 games.
Yeah, because
right?
you know why, Jose? It's because they have the shorter schedule.
Yeah.
They got you got a less than 40 game schedule, so
Definitely.
it kind of makes sense, I guess. And their one preseason game, of course, was in
Notre Dame,
in South Bend,
Yeah, which was
in
pretty dope.
Notre Dame. Yeah.
44 game schedule.
My bad.
44 games. It's growing because it
It is.
wasn't.
No
it
Chuck,
wasn't
no
anywhere
Chuck
near
correcting me
He had to pull
on
it
the
up,
exact
right?
number.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So look,
basically half of what the NBA and the NHL do. Yeah. Okay.
So look, Chris, you and I have been covering this team since day one. We've
Right.
seen the ups, the downs. We've seen the roster movement, the coaching changes. We've seen it all, right? Not only that, we've seen from where they were used to giving tickets out for free to make people come to now barely even be able to find a ticket. Obviously, there was some movement this year. Kelsey Plum no longer here. Huge crowd favorite, right? Fan favorite there. But was also a baller here. Was not just a fan favorite. Was a great basketball player. Obviously, after Bill Laimbeer stepped down, she kind of changed, right? She kind of became the person that everyone thought she was going to be coming out of college. But then, obviously, Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson is top-notch, probably the best player in the league, the face of the franchise. Even though everyone wants to talk about Caitlin Clark, she'll be there eventually, obviously. We know who Caitlin Clark is. We know what she brings to the league. We know all of that. But with all the turnover and the people that they also brought in, you got Jewel Lloyd, big name, right? Brought her in. Kind of like Coach was saying earlier today on TC. We had some players that were ready to go out, not only out of our organization, but out of their organization and wanted a different move. Lloyd was one of those. She brought her in. I think that's going to be a great pickup from there. Going away from Kelsey, obviously, Kelsey was great. But to replace her with someone like Jewel, I think was a great move there. How do you think the Aces will do this year? Are we going to see them back in that championship form and possibly competing for the chip?
I don't think there's any question about it. They're definitely going to be in the top 3 when it comes to WNBA. Look, it was a preseason game on Friday night there in South Bend, so let's not get too crazy with it. But when you take a look at their starting 5, right, essentially what is it? It's a swap out, right?
Yeah.
For Kelsey, you're going to have Jewel Lloyd in the game. She had a decent game. It wasn't out there, it wasn't electrifying by any stretch. But the Aces put up 112 points in this game against in preseason against the Dallas Stars. But the rest of the starting lineup is all back from the championship years and from the team, right? It's basically the same starting lineup from 2000. It's definitely the same starting lineup from the same 2024 season, right? With the exception, obviously, of Kelsey Plum. So, to me, you know what a monster key to me is, Jose Volante, when it comes to the Aces this year? It's going to be the continued development and ascension of Jackie Young. Jackie Young, by the way, of course, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish guard. So she went there and showed out at 28 points in the game on Friday. But to me, it's going to be her. She is going to be instrumental, I think, as far as continuing to develop her game and becoming more of an alpha on this team from a scoring standpoint. Look, we get it. A'ja Wilson, she's the face of the league now. Multiple MVPs, is going to be the person on this team. But a lot of championship teams, right? You need to have that second or third dog. You got to have that one that's going to step up, right? And to me, I think she's going to be a monstrous key. Obviously, Jewel Lloyd and how she's able to assimilate with all things Vegas, Las Vegas Aces is going to be important as well too. And Chelsea continued to do her thing, right? And she was also solid on Friday night as well too. And also the bench too, right? Whether it's Kitley, whether it's not. And I had a good game on Friday night. And some of these pieces to replace some of the kind of mainstays that we saw on the bench for the Aces over the last 2 to 3 seasons. So, it's going to be key to see. But to me, a lot of it has to do with Jackie Young and her impact on this team.
It's funny you mentioned Jackie Young. I've been very critical of her since day one when she got drafted. I wanted them to draft Arika Gumbawale, her running mate at Notre Dame. I thought she would be the better player. Now, obviously, we've seen what Arika has done, right? Since she's been in the league, baller, all-star, high-scoring person. Obviously, we see that. But it hasn't translated into an overall team effort when it comes to her play on the court. That's the difference that I've seen. She's more of a first scorer, me before anyone else, not necessarily a facilitator and bring in the whole team. Yeah. As where Jackie has gotten better every single year. She has not taken any steps back since year one, in my opinion. She's gotten better at shooting. She's gotten better at the three-point ball. Her defense is getting better. She's becoming an all-around better player, and she's more confident. I feel that year one, year two, she was still trying to get her feet wet and figure this out, right? This isn't college anymore. They're playing me differently. My coaches have different game plans. Where do I have to be on the court? All of that is now starting to click with Becky Hammon being the head coach. With her having her career start with A'ja Wilson, I mean, come on now. How lucky can you be to have someone like that that's your running mate? You've already won 2 championships. Now, like you said, I agree. We have to get back to her being more of a staple with this team, especially with all of the movement, because we can't just keep focusing on A'ja. We can't keep giving all the pressure to her or Kelsey to run the point. We need a lot more from her. And we saw it last year when Kelsey was out. Jackie stepped up and played the point very, very well for a long period and stretch there in the early part of the season. So I agree. I think we need to see a little bit more. Not saying that Jackie hasn't been doing good, but we need to see a little bit more of a jump, and not only her game, but her confidence, right? In her role to be able to be more of a full-time leader on this team, more of a vocal voice, which I don't think she is just yet, Chris.
And I'll be extremely intrigued to see Becky Hammon too, right? Making the adjustment. When you have a key cog like Kelsey Plum has been really, and was a huge part of the championship teams. Let's not get it twisted, right? With her impact, to see how Becky Hammon and her coaching staff, her new coaching staff, right? Yeah. Because when you lose 2 assistants like that, and you're not going to compare it to other sports like the NFL or others, but losing a couple coordinators, I got to believe when you're losing a couple assistants like that, it's going to have some type of impact when it comes to that coaching staff, right? And so I'm extremely interested to see how Becky Hammon handles this situation moving forward, because yes, they have the 2 championships, right? But how does Coach Hammon handle a scenario in which you're trying to kind of navigate amongst the trees, which are now Chicago and New York and some of these other teams that are going to be battling for that WNBA championship with you.
6 p.m. tip-off tonight at Michelob Ultra Arena. It is A1 night for A'ja Wilson. They're going to be supporting and pushing out her new shoe. If you have not seen it, it's actually pretty dope. I wouldn't wear pink. That's not for me, but if you like it.
Kind of inconvenient for us, Vegas. Both kind of inconvenient.
You're wearing pink.
He is wearing jersey. He's got the line.
I love how he says, I wouldn't wear pink.
A full pink. I'm not going to wear all pink. Come on now. It's just not for me. I mean, I've done it before. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's not me.
Kind of tough and inconvenient though, right, Jose and Chuck? That you got one of the Aces, the only home preseason game, and it's going up against the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like that's tough for the Vegas fans and also for the media.
But see, the Aces couldn't manage that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all with the NHL. Depends on how long the series went, what happened there. It just so happened that it fell that way. But before we get off the WNBA topic, obviously we know what the Aces are going to do. Tip off final preseason game tonight, 6 p.m. at Michelob Ultra Arena. Aside from all of that, a lot of different big names 2 years in a row that have come into the WNBA. What are you most excited about, or who are you most excited about with this new WNBA season coming up?
Well, it's Paige, obviously her impact in Dallas. now that that Luke is not there. And no, I'm not. And I get it. All you basketball fans, don't jump on me. Start saying you're comparing the NBA to the WNBA. No, I'm not. I'm just talking about off the court. As far as like the image thing. That's what I'm talking about, right? So I'm going to be looking at that, seeing Paige in Dallas, and what she does there. Also, I'm going to be looking at one of the Aces rivals here out west, Los Angeles Sparks, right? You add Kelsey Plum there. They have some pieces. They have some pieces from a year ago. Obviously, we're talking about some of the bigger, younger names in the league. That's a team that's going to be a team to watch. And then, of course, we got to take a look at the Golden State Valkyries. All right. When you add one of our assistants, and I say I'm talking about the Aces because I'm in Vegas, right, and cover the team since day one, like you pointed out, like you. All right, when you want to see what happens there with it's an expansion team, and we have interest, not necessarily rooting interest, but you do have an interest on that franchise and what it is what's going to become there. It's very interesting too. It's in the Bay Area, so they're going to get. I think they're going to have a ton of support from the jump when it comes to that organization. So I'll be checking that out as well too. And then with obviously with another assistant from the Golden Knights going to Chicago, and having all those personalities in Chicago, and that being kind of a fireworks type of situation. If you want to talk about, controversy or non-controversy or a team that's talked about, let's put it that way, in the WNBA, that's going to be one of those teams. And so going to be a lot of fun to kind of check out and see where they fit in to the mix of all things WNBA.
Two teams that I'm looking forward to. You touched on it. LA Sparks.
Yeah.
Now have De'Erica Hamby and Kelsey Plum back together. They played in Vegas together. They know that. But then you also have Jackson. You have the other girl. I forgot. Why am I spacing out? She hurt her knee last year.
The tall blonde.
Yeah, oh my God.
Superstar.
Why am I?
What's her superstar name?
Why am I
Cameron
Brink.
Yeah.
You got her. That's already a 4 spot right there that you have a big 4. So I'm interested to see how that's going to pan out for LA this year. But the Valkyrie, you mentioned it. Their head coach is one of our previous coaches. You have Kate Martin, which is one of the people that they took over.
Exactly.
I know this is going to be wildly out there because people are going to say, Kate's not a superstar or anything like that. But the fact that her previous coach brought her from the team she got drafted and said, I'm going to take a chance on her, I don't think she's going to be a bench warmer. I think she will be a vital part of that organization, of that starting rotation. And I can't wait to see what this season and the future holds for her. I think that move for her was great. Obviously, staying here in Vegas would have been great for her as well. But to have to move to a team like that, not necessarily get traded or whatever and try to start all over again, but going to a team that is starting from day one, right? Brand new organization, brand new coach. I think it gives you that opportunity and that feeling of, I can do something special here. I can be a top-notch known player here. Your thoughts on Kate Martin?
Yeah, that's a great take there. And also, look, Natalie Nakasi, the head coach there now with the Valkyries, I'll be intrigued to see how much has rubbed off from Becky Hammon. As far as being a championship head coach. And as far as her coaching, she already was on track. Her time with the Los Angeles Clippers, of course, in the NBA. And then, of course, she ends up going to the WNBA. I think Natalie Cassi has a ton of potential to be one of the best coaches in this league. And that's no disrespect to the coach that moved on to Chicago, who I also think has potential as well, too. But to me, even the fact that she's going to, despite the fact is what I should say, that she's going to an expansion franchise, I think she has an opportunity to be a tremendous head coach in this league. But Kate Martin's going to be kind of a focal point of that team, particularly from an offensive standpoint, and which always happens with expansion teams when it comes to players that have already had some type of time in the league previously.
Big dog, I greatly appreciate you, man, hanging out with me, coming into the studio and doing the show. Let everyone know where they can find you, all things social media.
Yeah, you can find me all over social media. You can find me on X at Christian Winn. You can find me at CWin77 on Instagram, Facebook, and beyond. I'm also on Twitter, too, as well, too, at Chris Winn as well, too, also on Twitter. I get a chance to follow a little Numchuck action, some straight bet sports, of course, SportsX Radio across the board as well, too. And you'll find me on the dial also in Las Vegas across the board, whether it's at the Fox affiliate here in town and beyond. Also,
Chris, final score tonight. I got to get it from you.
Vegas Golden Knights win this one 5-4 in overtime, and Mark Stone's the hero.
5-4 in overtime with Mark Stone.
Mark Stone being the hero.
El Capitan. Okay.
Making the call.
Appreciate that, my guy.
Yeah.
Chris Winn, Jose Volante, hour and a half in the books. Chris is going to get his way on to the Golden Knights game. I hope you
It's
enjoy
going to be
it,
rowdy
my
over
guy.
there.
It's gonna be
T-Mobile
crazy.
Arena. It's game one between two of the best teams in the NHL. So
Game 1, round 2. We'll see what happens. Hopefully the Golden Knights can continue their quest for a second cup. You guys are tuning to SportsX Radio live here on KSHP Radio 107.1 on your FM dial, 1400 on the AM. And remember, on the website, SportsX Radio, sportsxradio.com. You can tune in there, click the stream button. And, of course, at the end of the show, all of the archives will be up. Our guy Nunchuck will get that done. Right after the commercial break, we're going to have our guy Mikey D coming on the show, talking a little NBA, courtside buzz. Should be some fun stuff there. Talk some betting lines, talk some injury reports, see what he is looking at. But, Chris, greatly appreciate you for hanging out. We'll be back after this break.
Snyder's, the Nevada South Hub invites you to play the best tavern, keno, and video poker in Vegas. Promos are how we roll to make the most of your gaming dollars here with us. Come play in our ongoing gaming promotions and receive daily free play, bonuses, and more. With a chance to win Knights, Raiders, and Aviator tickets, and big money with all those jackpots. It's not only the great gaming that Snyder's Pub has, it's the 24 awesome rotating draft beers and best appetizers to match. So join us in watching your baseball Aviators and all your home sports teams as we make history in Vegas. Snyder's, the Nevada Style Pub at 8410 West Cheyenne, 1750 North Buffalo, and Las Vegas Boulevard and Windmill. Snyder's, I love this place.
Hey, bartender, what'd you learn in school?
Forklift University. Learn to drive a forklift now. Forklift University, centrally located near Sahara and the I-50, with one-day classes and small class sizes, which means lots of drive time. Forklift University. This is the only forklift certification training you'll need. Mention this ad and receive 10% off enrollment. Forklift University. Learn to drive a forklift at forkliftuniversity.com. There's super, and then there's super. The Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas. The largest, most exciting race and sportsbook in the world. Home of the Super Contest and Super Contest Gold. The largest wagering venue in Nevada. Walls of 4K LED screens. Free Wi-Fi. Convenient parking right outside the book. 30,000 square feet of action. And action outside the book on the Westgate Superbook app. Available in the App Store. Wager anywhere inside Nevada State Line. The Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas. Where the action is. Think all guitars are pretty much the same? They're not. The guitars from Wild Audio are better, bolder, stunningly beautiful, and offer a playability unmatched by even the legacy guitar. Wild Audio guitars, tailor-made for Black Label Society frontman and Pantera reunion guitarist Zakk Wylde. Guitars from Wild Audio come in the most amazing shapes and finishes. Then when you plug them in, wow, the sound, the fret reach, the playability. See why Slash, Kirk Hammett, Brad Paisley, and more are wild about their Wild Audio guitars. And they've got basses, acoustic guitars, accessories, and left-handed instruments too. Wild Audio guitars for craftsmanship, durability, versatility, and oh my god, the sound. Visit wild-audio.com. That's WYLDE-audio.com. And go wild.
Looking for your next adventure on the road? Finley Toyota has you covered. With an unbeatable selection of brand new Toyotas, you'll find the perfect ride to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Whether it's the rugged Tacoma, the adventurous RAV4, or the powerful Tundra, at Finley Toyota, we make financing easy and stress-free, no matter your credit situation. Finley Toyota, driven to excellence. At the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson or online at finleytoyota.com.
The New York Times side, staying alive with no job, had second hands,
Little
moms
Wu-Tang
bounce
there.
on old man, so then we moved the Shaolin
On the
land.
show, Jose B, you are tuning in to Sports X Radio, live on KSHP Radio, 1400 AM, 107.1 on your FM dial. Big shout out to my guy Chris Winn for hanging out with me in the studio. Hour number 1 and a little bit of hour number 2. Mike Davis, head coach of the Vegas Knighthawks, joining us as well. And the legend, la leyenda, el único, el número uno, Jose Bautista, Joey Bats, joined us in hour number 1 as well. Former MLB star and now owner of the Las Vegas Lights. We are coming to you live from PSR Law Studios here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. I am Jose Volonte. Make sure you follow me on all things social media at Jose_Volonte. And of course, follow the podcast and all the media work at Straight Bet Sports. We are live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter or X, whatever it is that you want to call it. We're going to talk a little NBA here, and we're going to get our guy, Mikey D, on the line here shortly. Just want to run down some scores for you guys in the association. Cleveland up 74-58, 8:10 left in the third quarter. Golden State and Minnesota getting ready to tip off here shortly at 6:30 p.m. Second period, 5:31 to go. Washington Capitals 1-0. Carolina Hurricanes no score just yet. We talked about it. VGK coming up at 6:30. Some baseball scores here. Dodgers up 3-2 on the road against Miami. Yankees tie it up in the 5th inning. 2-2 at home against San Diego. Cleveland taking the lead 3-1 over Washington on the road. That is in the bottom of the second. No score in the top of the 5th. Cincinnati, Atlanta. Baltimore, bottom of the third. Down 5-0 to the Minnesota Twins on the road. Chicago White Sox actually up in the game 1-0 against the Kansas City Royals on the road, top of the 5th there. And bottom of the 3rd inning, Milwaukee leading Houston 4-0. Top of the 4th in Chicago, the Cubs down 4-2 to the San Francisco Giants. And the bottom of the 3rd, St. Louis Cardinals, Pittsburgh Steelers 0-0 all there, no score. So let's go ahead and get our guy, Mikey D. Gamala. Want to say, what is it? Domagala. I want to make sure I say that correctly. Or, as he's also known, Mikey D, Courtside Buzz. Greatly appreciate you joining us on Sports X Radio, my man. How you doing?
Jose, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Love the cash rules, everything around me, cream intro to come in. Love it.
That's all Nunchuck, man. I told him, give me something, put some music. He goes, well, Ken doesn't really normally do that. I'm like, Ken's not here today. I am. So go ahead and give me something that we can get the show started with, my man. But we already have a game going on here. Obviously, Cleveland, Indiana. Game 1 did not go the way a lot of people were expecting. A lot of people thought Cleveland coming in here and just basically steamrolling this team. It was not that. Indiana came in, showed some fight, won that game. But now it's a completely different story. Third quarter, 7:32 to go. Cleveland up by 17. What have you seen so far in this game, my man?
Definitely more physicality than Cleveland brought to game 1. I mean, game 1, they didn't have Darius Garland. Okay, so they got punched in the face without their point guard, took the loss. Now we're not seeing Garland, not seeing Mitchell or DeAndre Hunter off the bench, all down with some light injuries. They'll maybe miss a game or two, but they're out, and those are 3 substantial pieces in Cleveland's 64-18 record this year. But it's all Donovan Mitchell this game, man. He's taken over, putting the team on his back. Yeah, he's maybe attempting a lot of shots, but he's got it when 3 head honchos are out for the Cavaliers. He's already got 25 with a quarter and a half to go. So definitely has his eye on a 40 ball. And Cleveland's being physical, and Mitchell's doing what he has to do to will them to a win. So see if they can tie up this series.
But we got to see more than Donovan Mitchell, right? I mean, obviously, the rest of the team has to step up. I get it. Jared Allen does have 16 points. He's chipping in. Strauss has 14. So you're getting some play off the bench. Sam Merrill giving him 9, which isn't bad at all. But Who else are you expecting to see that has to step up for this team? Because it has to be a complete team effort. Obviously, they're up 17. I get it. Not much more that you would expect them to do. But is there anyone else that you want to see in this series step up aside from the big names?
Oh, guaranteed Ty Jerome. I mean, I'm looking at this stat sheet right now. In 18 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 9 shooting. Like, all right, he's inserted into the starting lineup after being a 6th Man of the Year candidate, right in the running. He was balling out, towards the second half of the season, putting up plenty of 20-point games off the bench, even in the playoffs. So he's got to step it up. Yeah, Cleveland's up 17, and I'm surprised they are because I'm seeing Jerome shooting 1 of 9, and you said it. The guys outside of Mitchell got to step up. So we'll see. We'll see if they can hold this lead. I know you know this, Jose, but up 17 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter, a lot could go wrong. There's a lot of time for a team to come back.
We definitely saw that last night in the New York Knicks game. That was insane for them to be down 20 like that and just come back. That was just crazy to see. But in this game, opening line was Cleveland -5.5. It's now -13.5 in game. Previous to the game starting, when you saw that line, was that a line that you thought was favorable? Was it good? Or were you expecting it to be a little bit lower or higher?
Definitely lower. And I'll tell you, because of the injuries, yes, teams usually tie up a series 1-1 when it's a close matchup and a game could go either way. And then, look at the end of the day, open the newspaper the next day. Oh, it's a 1-1 series. That's very common. But for a Cleveland team, like I said, without Garland, Mobley, and Hunter, -5.5, man, that's Vegas really being confident in Cleveland. And I guess they were right. Like I said, there's a lot of time, but that's a ballsy bet, knowing what they're down to right now.
And then obviously when it comes to this series, a lot of people thought that Cleveland would be the overall just favorite, right? A lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to the seedings, though. I don't pay attention to the seedings. I look at who did you play and how did you play them in the regular season. And not only that, when it comes to the playoffs are a whole different beast, right? Do you match up better against a certain team? And how are you going to play against a certain team's best player? Maybe you can shut down these certain guys. When this series was already set up, after the first round was done, who did you think would come out on top overall when it's all said and done?
Initially, I had Cleveland in probably 5 or 6. And now that they dropped the first game and are looking at potentially winning this as how the series, I still have Cleveland more so in 6 or 7. Indiana matches up well with them. Styles make fights, and NBA playoff matchups make great games. So, yeah, you never know with, who's going to have the better end of somebody here. I haven't really seen the Cavs bigs and Mobley and Allen really kind of turn up like they were all year. And you could give credit to Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam playing good down-low defense. So, like I said, the Styles make these games.
So let's switch away from this game. I want to go back to a couple of the games that we had last night. One of the games that I want to talk about more than anything, because I did have money on this game and I was very invested and I watched pretty much all of it, was the Denver Nuggets against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City comes out and it looks like they're just going to run away with this game, right? SGA playing great. The rest of the team stepping up. Alex Caruso decides to go off and have a freaking monster game, which that's what I had. I had Alex Caruso to go over his points, so thank God I at least got that. But this was a scary game, and one of those games where OKC is going to have this in the back of their head, right? There's no way that you can be up by as much as they were in this game, full control, and let it come down to the very end. I give a lot of credit to Russell Westbrook, though, because if we know Russell in the past, he's shoot first, right? He's always been that guy. I want to shoot first. I want to score. So for him to give up that ball and give up that pass to Aaron Gordon at the end of the game to basically get the clutch winning 3 there was just awesome to watch. But what were your thoughts on this game, seeing it from start to finish, and just how Oklahoma City just started to deteriorate down the end?
I'm not going to lie, man. When you run a social media platform like mine and you're trying to be quick and get everything done right and you want to be first, you pre-make some graphics. And I had OKC Thunder winning post with all the stats and everything lined up, probably with the last 4 minutes of the game. And like you said, just a slow deterioration. And I had to change my whole game plan for the Aaron Gordon game winner with my posts and all that. But, Jose, it's just another example of when you see the Denver Nuggets in the fourth quarter down 10 or more points, you should probably sprinkle $5 to $10 on them. I've seen it many times Last year, when Jokic hit the half-court game winner against the Warriors, they were down 19 heading into the fourth, and Jokic just got it done. Last night, man, it's like Jokic like lulls you to sleep. He doesn't do anything that sexy or that flashy, but you go up and down the court every now and then. There's 2 points. There's a foul. There's a three-pointer, and there's a two. We get a stop. Jokic is coming down the lane for an easy two. Because he doesn't score loudly, if that makes sense, he could just start chipping away and really mess up your game plan. And Mark Dagnall got a flashbang in his face because he was stunned that Chet Holmgren missed those 2 free throws, and here comes Jokic with the board right to Westbrook, one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, like you said, unselfishly finding Aaron Gordon for 3.
And then Nikola Jokic, 42 points, 22 rebounds. But what sticks out to me more than anything, when he got that 5th foul, the cojones on Adelman to say, the hell with it. We're going to keep you in. We're going to keep playing you, and we're just going to ride this out and see what happens. I think that right there needs to be talked about more than anything, because I get it. He's still your guy. You got to play him. He's your superstar. Other coaches would have probably brought him out for a bit, then brought him back in. But for him to just leave him in there and say, let's ride with it. And if you saw Jokic on the sideline, the way he was yelling at his players, I haven't seen him that animated in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I think part of that is because Michael Malone is no longer, the head coach. Things are kind of sideways and all over the place heading into the playoffs with the coaching situation, Adelman sliding up. I think Jokic trusts Adelman because they have a good relationship over the years, and so do the players. But now I feel like Jokic doesn't have Malone in his way to kind of act as his player coach, where he's kind of directing guys, running plays, because it's for the better. It's nothing against David Adelman. Jokic is just more emotional, more intense right now because maybe there's a little, maybe 5% trust lost with Adelman compared to Malone, and Jokic feels the need of to take over when an inexperienced head coach won't run the right play. Maybe, but he's locked and loaded, man. He is locked in. Last night was impressive, like you said, not fouling. And something I got to bring up, Jose, I want to get your thoughts on this. Jokic is off the floor. OKC is up 3. Game-tying shot coming down, and they foul to put Aaron Gordon at the free throw line and to bring Jokic back in the game. How do you not put Jokic, keep him off the court when you can, because they couldn't foul or else they'd send to the free throw line? That was unbelievable.
I don't even know how to respond to that, if I'm being honest with you, because it just comes back to coaching, like you said, right? How do you not leave him on the bench? How do you not give him some breaks? But it's just at that point, I just think that if you're Oklahoma City, you also have to figure something out. You can't be making those silly fouls towards the end of the game like that. You can't be doing that. You have to play better defense. You have to play smarter. But now my question to you is, if you're Oklahoma City, what do you do coming out of this loss to come back into game 2? I mean, your whole starting 5 went over double figures. Alex Caruso comes off the bench and has a huge game. What else can Oklahoma City do right in order to win game 2 in your eyes?
Yeah, I think you said it, the coaching. Better execution in the last 6 minutes of the game to blitz Jokic, because he had 18 in the fourth, and he shot like 7 of 8. He got anything he wanted. Blitz Jokic, get the ball out of his hands, make Russell Westbrook make a tough shot in crunch time. Jamal Murray's a big-time performer, but, let Michael Porter Jr. make a big shot in clutch time. Put the ball in his hands. Don't let the ball stay in the future Hall of Famer, top 10 guaranteed center of all time's hands. You know what I mean? Who could make any play he wants at any time. So better execution on offense from OKC and better defensive execution taking the ball out of Jokic's hands. And I think they'll win game 2 because they had control of that whole game, man.
Yeah, they did. The whole game basically looked like it was going to be done with. I thought they were going to completely just keep dominating, especially when I saw the foul trouble that Denver was getting in with some of their players, especially Jokic. And not only that, the way the game was being officiated, it was pretty chippy, and some of the calls were kind of skeptical. You could have thought about it, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. You can't leave, in my opinion, I always say this, you cannot leave the game in the hands of the referees, right? You have to play the full 4 quarters. You have to finish it up. You can't make excuses when it comes to that. So I'm interested to see what OKC does do in game 2 against Denver, and if Denver can keep up with this style of play and keep coming back when they're down. Now, another team that was down yesterday, we talked about it, New York comes back to beat Boston 108-105. Jalen Brunson, again, coming up tough and strong when he needs to for this Knick team. But not only that, Mikal Bridges with the steal at the end of the game, they're playing unbelievable defense. What were your thoughts on last night's Boston and New York game?
Unbelievable. Obviously, that game happened before OKC and Denver, but looking back, if you ask me which team would come back, New York against Boston or Denver against OKC, I think the whole world would pick Denver against OKC. They know Jokic is a big-time player, whatever. But seeing the Knicks come back 20 against the number 2 Celtics, but the reigning champs, that was pretty unbelievable because we know Brunson's hitting everything in the clutch, blah, 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 this, that. But we don't know that they would totally shut off Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter and overtime. I did not see that coming. They totally turned them into shot-chucking jump shooters from three. They didn't let them touch the paint. They sealed it off. They didn't even let them try to play make. Tatum shot horribly, something like 30% from the field, and you got to give the Knicks credit. Mikal Bridges, who's gotten a lot of hate this year, deserves credit. He didn't shoot good last night, but he hit 2 big threes in clutch time, and he got the game-winning defensive stop. So people make fun of him and say, 5 first-round picks? Well, they just beat the reigning champs because of those 5 first-round picks.
So you also talked about the three-point shooting. I mean, 15 of 60, 25% from three, which was just absolutely horrible for the Boston Celtics. Now, I also read something on the way into the studio today that basically Joe Mazzulla comes in and tells these guys, we got to switch it up. We can't keep shooting these threes, this, and that. And that the players are like, basically, no, this is our game. We're going to do what we're going to do. We're going to keep shooting no matter what. Do you believe that? Do you believe that that is actually happening? And if so, do we have a problem here on the bench with the coaching staff and with these players possibly moving forward in the series?
I think there could be a small problem between, like you said, what Mazzulla wants and what the players want. The players always settle for three. And this year I've noticed the Celtics, not even just after last night, but through the regular season, the Celtics had plenty of bad losses because they chucked so many threes in clutch time, like they did last night. They lost to bad teams because they were overshooting and went ice cold. You live and you die by the three. So that being said, I think they change up their game plan. I think they get more paint touches. Once Porzingis is back and healthy, he'll, be more of a threat inside and they could play inside out. But you also got to look at it for the Knicks, right, Jose? I'm a diehard Knicks fan from New York, so I'm amped about the win. I love how Brunson played, and OG played his butt off too. But you have to think Boston's not going to shoot that bad again, and they led pretty much that whole game. So I think it's going to be a 1-1 series after Game 2 because I see it as Boston more so shot themselves in the foot than New York beat them in Game 1. So Boston's still a threat. The Knicks are still in muddy waters, and they're fighting an uphill battle because that's how deep and how good the Celtics are and how not deep the Knicks are.
Mikey D of Courtside Buzz hanging out with us here on SportsX Radio. Jose V with you today. KT taking the day off. Right now, update, Cleveland 88, Indiana 73. A couple minutes left here in the third quarter, I believe it is still. This is a game that's going to be interesting coming down towards the end for sure because it can get close. But moving back to the Knicks and the Celtics, Game 2 tomorrow, 4 p.m. here on the West, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Game 1, Celtics opened and closed around 8.5, 9-point favorite. Coming into this game after them losing Game 1, we now sit at a minus 10.5 for Boston. If you're a betting man, is this something you're taking the points or you're going against the points?
I'm going against it. I would take New York plus 10.5 if that's the flip bet.
Okay.
Or live if New York is about plus 15, plus 17, plus 18. I think you take that. I think the Knicks prove that they have fight in them. They won't back down from Boston, and I would expect another close game. Even if the Knicks fall down, that's where you take the plus 12 to 18, whatever it may be, because these playoff games, Jose, the 3-point line, it's the make or break for every team. Brunson hit 4 straight threes yesterday and got them right in that game. Tatum missed a bunch of threes, and there's the Knicks lead. So you never know how these games could go. Even this Cleveland-Indiana game is a 14-point game with 2 minutes in the third. The three-point shot could bring Indiana right back in it. So I would avoid taking Boston at minus 10.5.
And Mikey, you brought up something that I love: in-game wagering. Basically, you wait, you watch, you see what happens. I love doing that.
Yep.
And one thing that I've learned, especially during the last 2 years in the playoffs, the betting market, what people don't get, it's not just sides and totals anymore. You can do so much more when it comes to every sport, especially when it comes to player props. I don't know about you, but I like watching these games. I like seeing who's where at half, how they're playing, and then I'll look for some player props. I did it last night. Like I said, I hit Alex Caruso. I had a 6-team parlay, and I needed one more rebound by Shea, and he couldn't get it. It would have been nice to hit that. But what is it about in-game, though, that you like more than anything?
I think exactly what you said. You get a feel for the game. You really look at how coaches are game planning against some of the best players coming off the bench, and you could see the ebbs and flow of these players. For example, last night with Jokic, right? So he finished with 42. So heading into the third, he had 32. He had 24 points heading into the fourth. Now, say his over/under is 31 points right there. That would be just about 7-8 points for him to hit that bet. Just think about it. You got an all-time great in a close game, in need of a little bit of a comeback, down about 10. You know Jokic is getting the ball. You know he's going to the free throw line. You take that bet. So just because, he had 24 heading into the third, you know he's going to finish with 35. Or if a guy, a high-volume shooter, say, for example, Donovan Mitchell in tonight's game, say he came into half with 5 points on 2 of 12 shooting. Are we thinking Donovan Mitchell's not going to get his 20? Are we thinking he's not going to get enough shots to get to the free throw line, or however he'll get that 20? That's where you hit it live.
And see, the one thing that I look at too, though, I don't like to take players that are up big in a game, because if they go up too big, they could get sat and they won't shoot. I like to look at the opposite.
That's
to
true.
See who's
That's
there,
true.
who's going to try to make a run, things of that nature. And that's what I looked at last night. I did look at Jokic's rebounds. He was at 12.5 at halftime. If you would have took he was at 12. You would have took the over at halftime. It was 19.5. He got that easy. I should have bet it, and I didn't. But I get what you're talking about, and I do love in-game wagering. Mikey, we got a few more minutes here, and I still want to get your thoughts real quick on this next game tonight. Golden State going into Minnesota. 2 low seeds taking out 2 top big seeds in the Lakers and Houston. Minnesota coming in as a 5.5 point favorite, open up, sitting at 6.5 most places now. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
The second you said that, I'm not going to lie. I inhaled deeply and I exhaled because what am I going to tell you right now about that series? It's just, it could go one way or it could go the other way. And I know that's a simple way of saying it, but God, you got Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, who seem to do just about everything right since the trade. They won almost every game they played together, it seemed like. And now we have a red-hot Minnesota team. Oh, it's so hard to say, man. They're both very good defensively. They both have a lot of depth. But I will make one statement, almost like a Charles Barkley guaranteed kind of thing. I think Minnesota somehow gets this series done. Anthony Edwards takes out another legend in Steph Curry. And why I think so? I think Minnesota's length and depth is going to mess with the Warriors. Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and Jaden McDaniels, and I can't forget about Naz Reid. They are going to be extremely disruptive in the paint, on defense and offense, and it might be too much for Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, and Quentin Post. You know, it's their length and their dynamicness is incredible.
I agree. I definitely would like to see Minnesota. I like Golden State. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Steph Curry fan. I got no issue with Jimmy Butler. The only thing that I will say, and remember, be careful what you wish for. He did wish for the Golden State Warriors, and he got them in the second round. Mikey, we greatly appreciate you, my man, for coming on and giving us a few moments of your time. I know KT's not here, but thank you for hanging out with me a bit. Let them know where they can find all of your content, my brother.
Oh, yeah, no, it's always love. Whether Ken, you, Jose, you did a great job, and I appreciate it. Follow Courtside Buzz for everything basketball on all social media platforms. Blitz Buzz for everything football. Combat Buzz for everything MMA and boxing. And Stereo Buzz for all things music. And I'll have Strikeout Buzz coming soon for the MLB season. So, Jose, thanks again.
There we go. Mikey D, Courtside Buzz. Greatly appreciate you, my man. You have a great rest of your week. All right, man.
All right, you too, brother. Thanks a lot.
Yes,
Enjoy
sir.
the games.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff, man. Nunchuck, greatly appreciate you, my man, keeping me in line, keeping everything going. Final update here, 98-84, Cleveland up at the end of the third quarter. You were tuned in to another show here today of SportsX Radio on KSHP Radio. We greatly appreciate all our guests, Jose Bautista, Mike Davis, Mikey D, and of course, Chris Winn for coming in the studio, hanging out with us. KT, enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the game. Remember, guys, don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. If you do drink, get an Uber, get a friend. Be safe. I love you all. Frank, I miss you, and I'll never forget you, bro. Peace.
Diners, the Nevada South Pub invite you to play the best tavern, casino, and video poker in Vegas. Promos are how we roll to make the most